It's no secret that it's been a bumpy few years for the economy. COVID, lockdowns, inflation, you name it. With growing talk of bear markets and recessions, it's time to share our family plan. It's not ironclad, but these are the 5 steps that we are taking while preparing for a recession. We hope that by sharing our ideas, you can get some ideas to support your family as well. Hey everyone, this is Andy Hill from Marriage, Kids, and Money, a channel dedicated to helping you strengthen your family tree so you can live financially free. If you like what you hear today, please consider giving me the YouTube triple thanks. That's hitting the like button, subscribing to the channel, and then commenting down below. Thanks so much for considering it. Okay, here's how our family is preparing for a recession in 5 steps. Number 1, shore up your emergency fund. We are closely looking at our budget and our spending this month because we want to tighten things up. While budgeting isn't our absolute favorite thing to do, budgeting certainly isn't a bad word or a bad thing, people. In fact, keeping a close eye on where our dollars go gives us a great deal of freedom in the long run. In stabler times, we might use the extra money that we find in our budget to funnel towards sinking funds, such as a vacation, or to level up our investing. But as part of preparing for a recession, the first thing we are doing is taking stock of our emergency fund. 6 months of expenses sounds like a smart plan for us right now. While there are plenty of people who are paid good money to predict when the next recession is going to happen and how it's going to impact us, the truth is nobody knows. We hope our family's income won't take a big hit, but we simply don't know, right? If you've taken the plunge into entrepreneurship like I have, it can be even harder to predict what income will look like. After all, my income already varies month to month. We'll plan a budget party to review our money situation and see if we have any funds that we can use to beef up our emergency fund. We still won't know what to expect exactly in this recession, but knowing that we have some extra funds to cover the unexpected offers us some real peace of mind. Number 2, continue investing according to plan. Even though the stock market has dipped into bear market territory and it looks like a recession is coming, we are investing in the stock market like any other day. We are long-term investors in this house, and we know that this situation is eventually going to get better. We haven't lost any money, really. Instead, this is what is called a paper loss. You can see the loss on paper or on your computer or phone screen for that matter, but we keep telling ourselves that we only lock in these losses if we sell. And we're not selling anytime soon. Instead, we're going to stay the course as much as possible. For us and many others in the personal finance and FIRE communities, that means leaning on index funds. We aren't trying to time the market, and we aren't trying to pick a handful of stocks that will do the best in the recession. Instead, we're keeping our portfolio diversified and sticking to our investing plan. It definitely takes a mental pep talk or two, but we really are trying to approach this as an opportunity to buy more shares at a discounted price. Number 3, reduce your expenses, not your joy. If you're working on preparing for a recession, you likely know that it's important to cut back a little bit. But we're here to remind you to be strategic about this. After all, you want to reduce your expenses, not your joy. One easy way to do this is to track your spending and then do an audit. Start by trimming the low-hanging fruit. You know what I'm talking about. Do you pay for monthly subscriptions or upgrades that go completely unused? Cancel those guys and then reroute that money. You can send it to your emergency fund, stash it in your savings, or even consider investing more if that aligns with your plan. Another area to try and control without killing your joy is with food. We all know that meal planning can save you a lot of money, but it also can save you a boatload of time. Try to make Sundays the day where you prepare your meals to eat during the week. This way you're not spending so much time preparing daily meals and all the dishes that go along with them. And one more area that we found some non-joy killing saving success is with our mobile phone provider. After hearing a lot of hype about MVNO phone service compared to the big name carriers, we decided to explore some options here. We dug into the different operators and we finally decided on Tello. After our family switched from Verizon to Tello, we found we were saving a considerable amount of money each month, and our service was actually better. You really can't beat that. We were then able to use that savings to bulk up our emergency fund and have some more fun. Remember, if you manage to reduce your expenses doing any of these things, be mindful of where that money goes so it doesn't just get spent mindlessly. Number 4, earn more without burning out. Part of preparing for a recession means cutting expenses. Another key part is to secure your income. Depending on your situation, that could mean one of 3 things, or a combination of all of them. The first one, make yourself invaluable at work. For a lot of millennials, the Great Recession is forever burned in our brains. Many of us were just starting our careers or just trying to get them off the ground. If you lost your job or couldn't find work then, I probably don't even need to mention this piece of advice to you. With a recession on the horizon, job cuts are going to happen. Companies will scale back and people will lose work. You want to do what you can to secure your position. That doesn't have to mean doing extra work. Instead, you want to make sure that you get credit for the work you're currently doing and you do the work to the best of your ability. One way to do this is to meet with a supervisor to take inventory of all that you've accomplished as a team and individually this year. You could also consider a side hustle, or 2 for that matter. A recession might seem like a funny time to explore side hustling, but the truth is there is no better time than now to generate multiple streams of income. I know what you're thinking though. You've got a job and you've got a family. How are you going to find time for something else like a side hustle? Well, side hustles don't have to be big time commitments, and they don't have to bring in thousands of dollars a month to be valuable, right? Start with our list of some of our favorite side hustles that parents can do right from the comfort of their home right here on this channel. You should also consider preparing for a pivot. If we learned anything from that last recession, it's that different fields are impacted at different times. Some companies have already started laying off employees. You've heard of this. Others will hold out as long as they can simply because the impact of the recession won't be felt in those areas right away. In order to keep preparing for a recession, you want to be aware of the possibility that you might lose your job. If that happens, don't be afraid to pivot. In fact, it could be the best thing that ever happened to your income. In a recent report, nearly half of the people surveyed said that they got a pay boost when switching jobs. While no one wants to think about being pushed out of their current role, you want to keep your eyes open to the possibility. You also want to remember that job hopping is a powerful way to grow your income in many situations. Number 5. Be generous where it's needed. It's very easy to get wrapped up in our own financial situation, but some common advice is to zoom out. That's a good perspective on viewing the stock market, as we know, and it's an even better way to look at the world. We know that despite a looming recession, we're in a good place financially. That's why preparing for a recession actually means being as generous as possible to us. There are so many different issues that a recession will only make worse for people in our country. For instance, the USDA estimates that nearly 40 million Americans are facing food insecurity. We're fans of feeding America and their ability to feed our neighbors when it's needed most. And now is definitely one of those times. Our son Calvin, who's 8 years old, donated $14 from his give jar to Feeding America, and Nicole and I followed his lead as well. This allowed us to have a conversation about how important it is to take care of our neighbors in need when we can. Zoe, which is our 10-year-old, she donated her money to a local animal shelter recently. She got back a nice note saying that donations have been very slow lately, so Zoe's $20 was very appreciated. If you have the means to give during this time, do so. If not, find other ways to give. You can consider donating unused household items and clothing that are in good condition. You might also consider volunteering your time or your expertise with local organizations that are doing work you support. We find this perspective to be truly helpful when considering what a recession might mean for our community and our country. In the end, preparing for a recession isn't anyone's favorite part of financial planning, but it is so crucial. Take some time today to consider how you might scale back on expenses or increase your income to boost your emergency fund and increase your savings. Having a plan for tough economic times can help your family struggle less if a recession actually hits us. Plus, that same plan can help you sleep much better when times aren't tough. Knowing that you have a plan to take care of your family and others is a key part of strengthening your family tree. Well, enough from our side, everyone. We want to hear from you. How are you preparing for a recession in your family? Which of these steps make sense for you and your crew? Please let us know in the comments below. This is Andy Hill from Marriage, Kids, and Money, signing off. Carpe diem.